Daniel Ricciardo has had a difficult season with McLaren so far, and it appears that things are about to get even worse. The Australian driver has only managed 1 point finish this season and has appeared uncomfortable in the new specification of cars that McLaren has provided so far. But his boss made it clear on the weekend of the Monaco Grand Prix that time was running out. This means that the race in Baku could be the last chance Ricciardo gets at retaining a seat in F1. How much trouble is Ricciardo in? Let's find out. Formula 1 currently has 20 seats. Seats which are supposed to be occupied by the elite of the elite in racing. If we don't count for paid drivers, of course, but that is a whole different topic. So let's take a look at which seats are taken and which are not. Sergio Perez has signed a new contract with Red Bull until the end of 2024, making him the latest driver to commit his future to a major F1 team. The Mexican did so in style, inking his new deal the same weekend he won his third Formula 1 race of his career, the Monaco Grand Prix. Only 7 drivers' contracts will expire at the end of the current season as a result of his new deal, which does not include any embedded conditions that could trigger an extension. But ahead of 2023, which seats are up for grabs and who will leave the sport at the end of the current season? Sebastian Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Alex Albon are among the drivers whose contracts expire at the conclusion of the 2022 season, though excellent early season results suggest they will not leave until 2023. Zhou Guanyu, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi all have questionable futures, with the latter 2 drivers costing their teams a significant amount of money owing to recent accidents. Zhou, on the other hand, can be delighted with his early season results in a year in which the rookie is pitted against a veteran Grand Prix winner in the form of Alfa Romeo colleague Valtteri Bottas. This leaves only a couple of spots left to fill, and with an enormous pool of talent available, and Ricciardo's team principal stating his contract could be cut short, he should be the one to leave F1 first, next to the previously stated drivers. But why is Sergio Perez's contract extension at Ricciardo's former team Red Bull so important? Is this the beginning of the 2023 drivers grid swap story? Well, Checo has agreed to a 2-year contract with Red Bull, with the Mexican signing the contract before the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. It also demonstrates that Red Bull is devoted to him, as team president Christian Horner stated. For us, holding on to his pace, racecraft and experience was a no-brainer, and we're delighted that Checo will continue to race for the team until 2024. In partnership with Max, we believe we have a driver pairing that can bring us the biggest prizes in F1. Despite the fact that he deserves it, the move means that drivers further down the Red Bull ladder, like the AlphaTauri duo of Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, will have to wait until at least 2025 to compete for the second Red Bull seat. We know what happened to Gasly in the past, when he was promoted to Red Bull in 2019 following a successful year with the organization's sister squad. However, after struggling to put in good performances, he was released again midway through the season. Despite this, Gasly has been in excellent form since then, picking up respectable point finishes, podiums and even a race victory with AlphaTauri. Gasly stated publicly in 2021 that he believes he deserves a second shot at Red Bull. But with Perez signing a contract extension, that is unlikely for a few more years. Dr. Helmut Marko, Red Bull advisor, admitted earlier this year that the team might lose Gasly if they couldn't offer him a contract back at Red Bull. So what does this mean exactly for Ricciardo? Obviously, Gasly is going to want to move up the grid, but with Red Bull now being unable to offer him that chance until at least 2025, he and his team will be looking for options elsewhere, and McLaren is the most likely one of them. Given how well Lando Norris is driving and the multi-year contract he recently signed, the team will have no choice but to keep him. But it's not out of the bounds of possibility for the team to consider Gasly in replacement of Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo is undoubtedly a great driver, having driven for Red Bull and Renault in the past. But the Australian has struggled at McLaren, as we all know. He has only 1 points finish out of 7 races so far this season, and he struggled a lot last year as well. He won in Monza, which was a fantastic achievement, but he hasn't been anything near Norris's pace. When Ricciardo joined McLaren last season, he was granted a 3-year contract. However, Daniel's troubles have prompted McLaren CEO Zak Brown to lately state that he's dissatisfied with Daniel's performance and to emphasize an escape clause in his contract. He told the media, "I don't want to get into the contract, but there are mechanisms in which we're committed to each other, and then there's mechanisms in which we're not. I've spoken with Daniel about it. We're not getting the results that we both hope for, but we're both going to continue to push." One possibility is that Gasly and McLaren begin talks this season for a move in 2023, which would see Ricciardo leave the team early. If Daniel continues to make pointless finishes, McLaren will probably follow this route. Alternatively, both drivers' contracts may be seen out until the end of 2023, with a deal between McLaren and Gasly in place for 2024. But based on the way Brown has spoken about Ricciardo, it's evident he's dissatisfied with the results. And if that trend continues, it's possible to see him considering other possibilities. As previously stated, Perez's contract extension may make Gasly an attractive candidate for McLaren. He currently has to wait until at least 2025 for a spot at Red Bull. And with Gasly stating he's ready for another chance at Red Bull last year, it's unlikely he'll wait another 2 years to get that chance. This could mean this is the last year we see Daniel Ricciardo racing in Formula 1, unless he can find his old form. But he must do this quickly, as it's likely that the race in Baku will decide what action Zak Brown and McLaren will take, especially now that the drivers' market is opening up and spots are locking in for next season. Daniel Ricciardo is looking at a 37-point gap to his McLaren teammate Lando Norris, and he has to make up for it quickly if he wants to stay in F1 next season. Andreas Seidel of McLaren has identified many causes for the 37-point deficit between Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. Norris has had a strong start to the new season, and although initially admitting that he might have to fight his way to the front, he's already earned a podium. Many have been impressed by his and the team's recovery from their difficult initial race in Bahrain. But Ricciardo has not followed in Norris's footsteps, with only 1 point finished to Norris's 5. It follows a 2021 season in which McLaren showed enormous patience with Ricciardo, who finished the year 55 points behind his teammate despite winning the team's only race. Zak Brown, Ricciardo's manager, was honest in his assessment of the Australian's troubles ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix. The 32-year-old then crashed during Friday practice and finished 13th on Sunday after a poor qualifying session left him destined for a procession race. When asked about Ricciardo by the media, Seidel responded, "In general, Daniel says it himself. He doesn't feel 100% with the car, especially when it's about pushing it to the absolute limit in qualifying. He's up against a very strong teammate as well with Lando, and if you put both things together, that's the gap we're sometimes seeing." But it isn't simply Ricciardo's inability to master his MCL 36, as Seidel revealed, as the team realized that car issues were also to blame for his poor performance at the Spanish Grand Prix. Norris finished 8th despite having severe tonsillitis, while Ricciardo finished 12th, which at first would suggest the difference in form of both drivers, but it wasn't only due to the driver's ability or lack thereof. Barcelona, in the race, it was simply not possible for Daniel to do a better pace. "That's something we had to analyze after the race, which we did," said Seidel. "We found an issue on the car which gave us an explanation, which was important that we learn from that." As the distance between McLaren's two drivers widened, concerns about Ricciardo's future rises. The driver has stated that he intends to continue with the Woking-based company until his contract expires by 2023. Meanwhile, the team claims they're concentrating on assisting him in becoming closer to his little teammate. Seidel added, "All we can do, together with Daniel, with a commitment on both sides, is to simply keep working hard in order to find these last percentages. It's clear to see that Ricciardo is in a tough spot. He must perform the coming races, otherwise it will likely be the end of him in Formula 1. Especially now that there are talented drivers like Gasly openly searching for a new team to compete at." What are your thoughts on Ricciardo's situation? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like the video as well to support our channel. We'll see you in the next video.